In this example, we're going to take a look at one application of logarithms pertaining to the intensity of an earthquake compared to another earthquake in the Richter scale. In December of 2004, there was an earthquake that hit Sumatra that registered a magnitude of 9.3 on the Richter scale. And then a few months later, in March of 2005, there was another earthquake that measured a magnitude of 8.7 on the Richter scale. So what we're going to try to do is figure out how many times more intense the earthquake that hit in December of 2004 was compared to the earthquake that hit in March of 2005. So to do this, we actually have a formula. For this, the common logarithm of I1 over I2. So this is the base 10 logarithm. This is the intensity of quake 1 divided by the intensity of quake 2. Those intensities are reporting from a seismograph like that. And that is going to, in fact, be equal to the magnitude of earthquake 1 minus the magnitude of earthquake 2. So this ratio right here is what we're going to try to solve for, since we don't know either of those things. That ratio right there will allow us to compare the two earthquakes and see how many times more intense one was than the other. So let's go ahead and try to plug in what we do know. We do know the magnitudes of these two earthquakes. So we can do log of I sub 1 over I sub 2 equals 9.3 minus 8.7. 9.3 minus 8.7 is 0.6, so this becomes log of I sub 1 over I sub 2 is equal to 0.6. And then what we're going to do to answer this question is we're going to go ahead and convert this to its exponential form. So we're going to go from its current logarithmic form to its exponential form. I'm going to kind of jump over here on the board so I have a little bit more room. The base of that logarithm is 10. So we have to remember that the common logarithm has base 10. So we'll have 10, jump across the equal sign to get the power to the 0.6 power equals what was over there. And that's that ratio of I sub 1 over I sub 2. So again, that ratio of the intensities is what's going to allow us to figure out how many times more intense this one earthquake is compared to the other. So at this point in time, I'll just go to my calculator and I'll go ahead and I will compute 10 to the 0.6 power, and that will tell me how many times more intense the earthquake was that struck in December of 2004 compared to the earthquake that struck a few months later in March of 2005. I've already computed that in the calculator, and I think you get about 3.98 something, I don't know, for that ratio. So we will say that this earthquake, we'll just go ahead and round that up to the next whole number, like that, to the nearest whole number, which would be 4. So we will say that it is approximately 4. So that tells us that the earthquake that struck in December of 2004 that had a magnitude of 9.3 on the Richter scale was 4 times more intense than the earthquake that struck in March of 2005 that had a magnitude of 8.7 on the Richter scale. 4 times more intense.